Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Keqiang and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, we bring you the top 50 updates from around the world only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. Our top focus comes in from West Asia, where major developments are unfolding. Yesterday, Israel announced that Hamas Chief Yahya Sinwar was killed. The Israeli military said he was killed in an operation in the southern Gaza. The mastermind behind October 7 attack on Israel was eliminated after Israeli troops located him in Rafah. Israeli Defense Forces have also released footage showing the last moments of Hamas chief. The video was taken in a destroyed building in Gaza. Sinwar was seen sitting injured and was covered in layers of dust. His face was obscured by a scarf, and just when he saw the drone approaching towards him, he was seen throwing an object at the drone in the video. After the IDF killed Sinwar, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said his death was the beginning of the end of war. He added that the war would end tomorrow if Hamas returns all the hostages and if the Palestinian group agrees to surrender its weapons. Meanwhile, Israelis celebrated the death of Sinwar. People danced in the streets and rejoiced with sweets. Now, after the death of Sinwar, several world leaders have reacted to his assassination. US President Joe Biden called it a good day for Israel and also congratulated Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He said both the leaders will jointly work to secure the release of hostages in Gaza. French President Emmanuel Macron said Sinwar's death was a turning point in the ongoing conflict. And Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he would not mourn the killing of Yahya Sinwar. While some nations were celebrating the Hamas chief's death, Iran's mission to the United Nations said the killing of Hamas chief would further strengthen the resistance in the region. Iran added that Sinwar will act as a role model for the youth and children. Meanwhile, Lebanon-based Hezbollah announced the launch of a new escalatory phase against Israel. Israeli Foreign Minister has criticized the UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres for not welcoming Hamas chief Sinwar's death. Kat said Guterres has refused to consider Hamas as a terrorist organization. The foreign minister also claimed that UN chief was leading an extreme anti-Israel and anti-Jewish agenda. He maintained that Israel will continue to ban Guterres from entering the country. Now to the war in Europe. The United States have issued sanctions on China-based companies producing drones that were being deployed by Russia. The drones were being used by Russia in its war with Ukraine. Washington has taken action on 3 Chinese companies. The US says the drones were being produced by China-based experts in collaboration with Russian defense firms. European Union and NATO have pledged their support to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. This comes after he presented his victory plan to them in Belgian capital of Brussels. President Zelensky said Ukraine must be in a position to strengthen before any peace talks begin with Russia. During a joint address with NATO Chief Mark Rutte, he said, quote unquote, if our partners will not lose their unity, we will not lose. British Foreign Secretary David Lamy will meet his counterpart Wang Yi in Beijing today. This is Lamy's first visit to China since the Labour government came into power. The 2-day visit aims to improve ties with China after they tumbled after spying allegations. Britain had accused China of spying and receiving its confidential data. However, Beijing called the allegations completely fabricated and malicious. Meanwhile, Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te has issued a stark warning to China. He said that the island's determination to protect its sovereignty will not change. Lai Ching-te's remarks came while praising troops for their response to China's latest military drills. Beijing had sent a record number of aircraft, warships and Coast Guard vessels to encircle Taiwan this week. Taiwan had condemned China's actions as irrational and provocative. In the Korean peninsula, North and South Korea continue to clash. In the latest, North Korea leader Kim Jong-un called South Korea a foreign and hostile country and added that the recent destruction of transport links marked an end to an evil relationship. He made the comments during his visit to the army headquarters yesterday. In South Asia, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Russia to attend 16th BRICS Summit in Kazan. Prime Minister Modi will be on a two-day visit starting October 22. He's also expected to hold bilateral talks with his counterparts in the region. In neighboring Pakistan, protests erupted across the country over reports of the rape of a college student last week. The woman was allegedly raped in the basement of a college for women in Punjab. However, the police, college and provincial government have claimed it to be mere misinformation. Since then, the demonstrations have spread to campuses in the cities of Lahore and Rawalpindi. Over 380 protesters were arrested following vandalism and arson in Rawalpindi yesterday. Pakistani authorities have ordered all educational institutions to shut down in the Punjab province. In East Africa, at least 7 people were killed after a suicide bomber blew himself in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. The incident took place near a police academy. When the assailant walked into a crowd of people, at least 6 people also sustained severe injuries. The Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab militant group claimed responsibility for the bombing. Moving to climate news now, people in Delhi woke up to a hazy sky covered with smog. The air quality index of the Indian capital climbed to 293 today, placing it in the poor category. The experts have warned that the air quality is expected to deteriorate further. Heavy rainfall flooded parts of southern and eastern France. According to French weather agency, the region witnessed exceptional rain, with 24.8 inches of rainfall in the last 48 hours. Flood-ravaged city of Lyon and flood warnings were issued to Paris. Climate change is impacting the harvest of Japan's staple food, rice. Due to sweltering heat, the farmers were forced to harvest the crops 2 weeks earlier than the usual time. According to Japan's weather agency, the country is witnessing a rise in its average annual temperature. Rising temperatures resulted in poor rice harvest last year as well. In Sydney, the beaches were closed yesterday. This after hundreds of suspected toxic black balls washed up on the city's shores. Preliminary tests suggest that the washed up substances were tar balls, comprising lumps of oil and debris. The scientists in Chile are making efforts to save an endangered species of frogs. The endangered loa frogs were on a verge of extinction due to severe drought in 2019. The frogs will be transformed to their natural habitat once their ecosystem recovers. Climate change is impacting coral bleaching globally too. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, at least 77% of the world's coral reef areas have been subjected to bleaching since February 2023. This marks the largest bleaching event on record. The numbers have gone up from 66% from the last mass bleaching recorded between 2014 and 2019. On to business and tech news now. The Chinese economy grew by 4.6% in the third quarter of this year. This is the slowest pace of growth China has seen since early 2023. China has announced several stimulus packages to revive its sagging economy. The country is facing a property market crisis, high municipal debts, and lower consumer demand. Meanwhile, data shows home prices in China have continued to decline last month. New home prices fell by 5.8% in September compared to the same month last year. It is the steepest fall in housing prices since May 2015. China has seen a decline in home prices for the last 15 months consecutively. A string of debt defaults by property developers and low consumer demand has crippled the Chinese real estate sector. The European Central Bank once again lowered its interest rates yesterday. This is the third rate cut by the bank since June. The bank said that the inflation in the European Union has declined to its lowest level in the last 3 years. Analysts say the rate cut is also prompted by slowing economic growth in the region. The European Central Bank sets monetary policy for the 20 EU countries. A lawsuit has been filed against American food processing firm Archer Daniels Midland, also known as ADM. The lawsuit alleges that the firm failed to maintain safety systems on its grain equipment for years. The negligence allegedly resulted in an explosion at its Illinois plant last year. The incident killed one person. ADM has also been under severe scrutiny this year for accounting irregularities. Amazon's top executive Matt Garman has warned employees to return to work or quit. Garman leads Amazon's cloud computing unit, Amazon Web Services. In a meeting, he said those who do not wish to work in office 5 days per week can quit. Amazon currently maintaining a 3-day in-office policy, but CEO Andy Jassy has said he wants employees to come to the office 5 days a week. Netflix added over 5 million new subscribers in the third quarters this year. This is about 14% more compared to the same period last year. The streaming giant now has about 283 million users globally. Netflix said its cheaper subscription plan featuring ads helped boost its user base. Meanwhile, Japan's anime market has toppled $2 billion in market valuation. This is according to a new report by Tokyo-based research firm Teikoku Data Bank. The report was prepared based on the revenue of 317 anime firms. It said the sector saw over 22% growth in 2023. The U.S. Commerce Department has reportedly launched a probe against TSMC. It is examining the dealings of the Taiwanese chip maker with China's Huawei. Reports say TSMC might have violated America's export restrictions. The U.S. has barred American firms from selling advanced chips to Huawei. TSMC says this is a law-abiding company. Elon Musk's social media platform X wants all its legal cases to be filed in Texas. The firm has updated its terms of service. Now all its legal disputes will be headed in a Northern District Court of Texas. Surprisingly, X is headquartered far from the district in Bastrop near Austin. The court is known for delivering verdicts that favor conservative litigants. The Oversight Board of social media giant Meta has invited public comments on its hate speech policy. The board provides content moderation recommends to the firm. It is seeking people's opinions on how to moderate harmful content related immigrants. The board is assessing whether its current policy is adequate to protect refugees or migrants from online attacks. Moving to sports, we start with cricket. Defending champions Australia have been knocked out of the T20 Women's World Cup. South Africa defeated Australia by 8 wickets in semi-final yesterday. The Pro Tees women chose to field first. They restricted Australia to an underwhelming 134 runs for 5 wickets. Annie K. Bosch start for South Africa with an unbeaten 74 runs of 48 balls. The English Cricket Board, or the ECB, has barred transgender players from top-tier domestic competitions. These rules will come into effect from 2025. The measure states any player who has gone through male puberty are ineligible for top-tier games. The ban will also apply to the 100 Women's Tournament. Bangladesh have sacked their men's cricket head coach Chandika Haturu Singhe. The country's cricket board said it was due to misconduct and breach of employment terms. Reports say a player claimed Haturu Singhe slapped him during the 2023 World Cup. The Bangladeshi was hired on a 2-year contract, which now stands terminated. Indian batter Virat Kohli has overtaken MS Dhoni to play the second most matches across all formats. Kohli achieved the milestone as he featured in the first India-New Zealand Test match. He has now made 536 appearances for India. Kohli now chases India's Sachin Tendulkar, who tops the list with 664 caps. In football, Atletico Madrid won't be selling tickets for the next 5 away matches after receiving sanctions from the European governing body, UEFA and Spanish Football Federation, RFEF. This comes after Atletico fans displayed racist and discriminatory behavior. During their 4-0 loss to Benfica in Champions League match yesterday. In tennis, Rafael Nadal lost to world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz at the 6 Kings Slam in Saudi Arabia. Nadal fell 6-3, 6-3 to Alcaraz in straight sets at the exhibition event. The 22-time Grand Slam described his fellow Spaniard as an animal. This would be the last time they face each other before Nadal's retirement at the end of the season. Two of the big three in tennis will collide head-on one last time. Rafael Nadal will be taking on his arch-rival Novak Djokovic. The blockbuster encounter will happen at the 6 Kings Slam on the 19th of October. The 6 Kings Slam is an exhibition tournament in Saudi Arabia. It includes top players and offers a prize pool of $4.5 million. Women's world number 9 Danielle Collins reversed her decision to retire at the age of 24. Initially, the American planned to ditch the sport after the current season. Collins had announced this after a disappointing Australian Open. Now she plans to continue playing and return for the 2025 season. Russian Sport Minister Mikhail Digatarev has called for dialogue with the International Olympic Committee or the IOC. He's pushing for improved ties with the global sports body. Relations between IOC and Russia have been bitter. Russia was banned from the 2024 Paris Olympics due to its invasion of Ukraine. The sports minister is seeking better relations with the IOC and urging it to end the dispute. In Formula One, Red Bull will modify their car following talks with F1's governing body, FIA. The discussion was over a device installed in Red Bull cars. The device allows how high or low their cars sit on the tracks. Rivals brought the matter to FIA, claiming it gives Red Bull an edge. The FIA has now banned the device. Moving to the world of showbiz now, former One Direction band singer Paynes' cause of death has been revealed in his post-mortem report. The official cited multiple trauma and internal and external hemorrhage. These findings were released by Argentinian officials. Payne died after he jumped from his hotel room's balcony in Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires. Meanwhile, the members of the show now disbanded One Direction band are now devastated by Payne's death. The band's Instagram account shared a message which stated that in time they will say something more. However, for now they will take some time to grieve and process the loss of their brother, whom they loved dearly. South Korean singer Rose and American singer Bruno Mars are collaborating on a song. They announced on social media that the track's title is apt. The duo also released the single's cover image with its release date, which is today. South Korean singer and BTS boy band member JHope has culminated his mandatory military service. He was in the military camp for 18 months. JHope was received by his fellow band members Jin and his fans. During a media interaction, he said that the soldiers are working hard to protect the country. Dune Prophecy will start streaming from the 17th of November on HBO. The season will have 6 episodes scheduled to release on consequent Sundays. It is a prequel series to the film Dune. The show is set 10,000 years before the Dune's timeline. Grey's Autonomy writer Elizabeth Finch has issued a lengthy apology for faking her cancer diagnosis. She stated that there was no excuse and no justification for lying about cancer. In 2014, Finch revealed that she has been diagnosed with a rare kind of bone cancer, which even landed her a job at Grey's Anatomy. However, in 2022, her medical history became a public knowledge. Actor Cynthia, who played the role of Elphaba and the film Wicked, got mighty upset after a fan-edited poster of the film went viral. The edited poster hides the face of Ervio, who took to social media and said this is the wildest and most offensive thing she has seen. The actor felt that it degraded her work. Emmy award-winning series Rick and Morty has been renewed till season 12. The show's executive producers made the announcement yesterday. Season 8 is slated for release in 2025. The first season of Rick and Morty debuted in 2013. The comeback of the series Phineas and Ferb is inching towards reality. The makers of the show shared the names of the actors who will be part of the revival show. The list includes names like Vincent Martella, who plays Phineas, and David Arrigo Jr. as Ferb, and Ashley Tisdale as Candace. The revival show will see two inventive stepbrothers going on missions during their summer holidays. The show has set a release date for next year. And finally, the character of Prince Charming is getting his own feature film. Disney is developing a story around the character, which is the love interest of Disney princesses. The studio has tapped in Wonka filmmaker Paul King to direct the film. The character of Prince Charming is the one who rescues the damsel in distress, majorly in the stories of Cinderella, Snow White and Sleeping Beauty.